In the world of Kymia, you hear a lot about power, but true power, the kind that can reshape the world, well, that isn't about brute force or just slinging raw energy around. It's about something much deeper, something more profound. Today, we're going to dive into how the real heavy hitters in Kymia don't just take power, they negotiate for it through sacred pacts with divine beings.
And this quote, right from the Grand Grimoire of Kymia, it just gets to the absolute heart of it, doesn't it? Kymia isn't about learning a few flashy spells. No, it's a sacred art. It's all about building relationships, forging these incredible bonds with the unseen world. You're not just a battery for power, you become a bridge to it.
And this is the core idea we're unpacking today. It's the one thing you really have to understand. The most powerful practitioners, they don't just master a spell that can bend reality to their will. Nope. They find a being that can bend reality, and they make a deal. The whole system is built on negotiation, on promises, on trust.
So, what exactly is a spiritual contract? Okay, think of it less like a magic spell and more like a sacred treaty. It is a deeply serious, binding vow between a person and a spiritual entity. It's a two-way street, you know? Both sides have skin in the game, both have obligations. And here's the kicker. These contracts are supposed to serve the greater cosmic balance.
Okay, so you're ready to make a deal, but with who? Before you can even think about making a contract, you have to know who's on the other side of that metaphysical table. Kymia's spiritual world is this huge, complex hierarchy, a kind of cosmic ladder of beings you can work with. And trust me, they are not all created equal. At the very, very top, the absolute peak, you have the One, the source of everything. Just below that, you've got your Tier 4 elders. These are cosmic powerhouses, beings like Avatar, who are the living embodiment of concepts like order or mercy. A bit further down the ladder are the Tier 3 spirit lords, being so powerful you need very specific, formal rituals just to get them to pick up the phone, so to speak. And then, at the base of it all, you have the countless Tier 1 and 2 spirits, the elementals, the nature spirits. They're basically the lifeblood of the physical world.
All right, so you've looked up the cosmic ladder, you've picked out a potential partner. Now what? How do you actually forge that sacred bond? What are the rules of engagement? This is where we get into the really intricate, fascinating mechanics of how Kymia actually works.
So, the single most important rule, the one you absolutely cannot forget, is reciprocity. There are no free lunches in Kymia. A contract is only valid if both sides get something out of it. It's a trade. The practitioner gets access to power or hidden knowledge, and the entity, it gets devotion, service, or maybe help with its own cosmic agenda.
And what the practitioner offers? Well, it's a lot more personal than just a pile of gold. We're talking about offerings of your own spiritual energy, or profound acts of devotion, like going on a sacred pilgrimage. Sometimes it's even about sharing forbidden knowledge. And then there's service, which is a huge commitment. It often means you're literally signing up for quests on behalf of this entity, like fighting back the forces of chaos.
You know, the ritual itself is the symphony of precision. Every single piece matters. Your tools, like an athame or a wand, they're not just props. They're consecrated instruments that channel your intent. The timing has to be absolutely perfect, lined up with powerful astrological moments to catch the right cosmic currents. And the geometric patterns you draw on the ground, that's not just for decoration. That's the blueprint, the architecture that focuses all that energy and amplifies your will.
Let's look at a really high-level example. Say you want to make a covenant with Athar, an elder of pure light. The price is steep. You're offering a flawless diamond, pure gold dust, and a personal vow of absolute spiritual purity. But check out the return on that investment. Unparalleled spiritual clarity, the literal ability to banish chaos, and the strength to become a true champion of cosmic order. The exchange is massive, but it's crystal clear.
And this brings us to what might be the most critical part of making contracts in Kymia. This isn't just a transaction for power, it's a choice of alignment. Every single pact you make, every entity you partner with, it forces you to pick a side in a war that spans all of creation.
See, the whole universe is basically defined by this struggle. On one side, you have Zenith. That's the creator's light. It's order, creation, all that is good. On the other side is the harrowing, the total opposite. It's chaos, corruption, a creeping shadow. There is no neutral ground in this fight. Making a spiritual contract is like planting your flag and declaring your allegiance.
And you can really see that choice laid bare right here. You could make a pact with Aletheia, the Elder of Mercy. The purpose? To heal, to show compassion, to bring merciful justice to the world. The outcome? You're aligned with Zenith's light. Or you could make a covenant with Nebulim, the Lord of Undeath. The goal there is to understand the perversion of life itself. The outcome? It's inherently corrupting. It leads straight to spiritual damnation and cuts you off from the light forever. The stakes could not be higher.
So when you put it all together, all of this leads to one single, inescapable truth. This is not a game. Every contract you make, every little bit of power you gain through these agreements, it comes with a profound cost and an even greater responsibility.
This right here is a serious warning. You do not want to break one of these contracts. Failing to hold up your end of the deal isn't like breaking a simple promise. It's like ripping a hole in the very fabric of reality. The fallout isn't just personal, it's cosmic. You disrupted delicate balance, and the repercussions can be absolutely devastating.
And in the end, that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? The art of Kymia, at its core, teaches that power is an agreement, it's a negotiation between your deepest, most desperate desires and what you're truly willing to sacrifice to get them, not just with materials, but with the very direction of your soul. So that leaves one last question. What would you choose?